All right, let's get right into it. Most of us think that having high cortisol just means we're feeling stressed out. But what if it's something way deeper, way quieter than that? What if it means your brain has secretly updated its entire operating system and changed its baseline prediction of the world from things are stressful right now to just things are generally unsafe? Because once that prediction locks in, well, everything changes. It's such a weird, hard to pinpoint feeling, right? You're functioning, you're getting through your day, but nothing feels quite calibrated. Your focus is a little fuzzy, your mood is kind of flat, your energy is just all over the place. This right here is often the very first, most subtle sign that something's off, that your system hasn't truly, fully relaxed in a very, very long time. So, here's the crucial idea. When you're under chronic stress, your brain actually rewires its fundamental assumption about the world. It makes the shift from reacting to temporary threats to anticipating constant ones. It's no longer an alarm going off for a specific fire. It's a constant state of readiness because the new default prediction is that danger is always just around the corner. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. See, healthy cortisol is supposed to be a temporary signal, a specific alarm that says, hey, pay attention to this. But when it's always high, it stops being an alarm and becomes the new default setting. It's the new normal. It's this constant low-level background hum of alertness that never ever truly turns off. Your stress hormone has literally become your body's operating system. Okay, so what's the first major sign you'll notice when this shift happens? It's realizing that the problem was never the stress itself. The real problem is that we can't seem to get out of the stress response. A healthy system has a recovery window. It knows how to power down. But what happens when that window breaks? Let's do a quick look at how it's supposed to work, right? Something stressful happens, cortisol spikes to help you deal with it, your system responds, and then, and this is the most important part, the loop closes. You go back to your baseline. It's a clean, efficient process designed to keep you safe. And this, right here, illustrates the problem perfectly. When your system is dysregulated, that loop stays open. You finish work for the day, but you're still tense. You solve the problem, but you're still restless. Your brain gets stuck asking this one question over and over. Are we sure it's safe yet? It's looking for a confirmation of safety that never feels complete, so it just stays on, constantly vigilant. So once your brain adopts this unsafe baseline, it doesn't just stop there. Oh no. It triggers a whole cascade of other changes. It's like a domino effect that messes with your priorities, your motivation, and even the way you physically hold your body. And it really builds in three key ways. First, your brain starts confusing things that feel urgent with what's actually important. Second, you stop feeling that sense of satisfaction from achievement. You kind of become resistant to rewards. And third, your body physically adopts this posture of readiness, holding tension without you even realizing it's happening. I really want to pause on this one because it is so important. When our motivation just collapses, we're so quick to blame ourselves, right? To call ourselves lazy. But this is a biological thing. Chronic cortisol can literally dull your brain's response to making progress. So you get something done, but you don't feel the win. And if your effort isn't rewarded with that internal hit of satisfaction, your brain just logically stops reinforcing it. It's not you, it's your feedback system. And that tension we're talking about, it actually has a name. It's called muscular bracing. It's when your body starts rehearsing readiness all day long. Think about it. A slightly clenched jaw, shoulders that are just a little too close to your ears, shallow breathing. It's not dramatic, but it's constant. And this physical posture sends a continuous, we're still in danger signal right back to your brain, which in turn says, okay, keep the cortisol flowing. You're not just experiencing stress, your body is actively helping to sustain it. Of course, all this tension leads to one of the biggest complaints out there, terrible sleep. But it's not just about struggling to fall asleep. It's a fundamental timing problem with your hormones. You know the feeling. You're exhausted all day, but the second your head hits the pillow, bam, you're suddenly wide awake. This slide shows you exactly why that happens. In a healthy cycle, cortisol is high in the morning to wake you up and it falls at night, which lets melatonin, the sleep hormone, take over. But in a dysregulated system, that cortisol stays high way into the evening. It basically blocks the signal that tells your body it's time to shut down, leaving you in that super frustrating, tired but wired state. Another really key sign is this massive pendulum swing in your behavior. At first, you might have tried to manage this constant feeling of pressure by doubling down, by trying to control every little thing. But that level of hyper-engagement, well, it always comes with a cost. And here are the two phases of that swing. First, you get the hyper-engagement. You're overplanning, you're trying to control every variable, you're just pushing harder and harder. But your nervous system can only take so much. Eventually, it hits its capacity and it forces a reset. That's when you swing into phase two, system shutdown. This looks like avoidance, disconnection, just feeling completely overwhelmed. It's not you being inconsistent. It's your system hitting its absolute breaking point. So after all of this, what's the path back? I mean, if the problem is a brain that's stuck predicting danger, the solution can't just be about managing the stuff happening around us. It has to be about reshaping our internal perception of safety itself. This is the shift most people never quite make. At a certain point, the problem evolves. You're no longer just reacting to stressful events in your life. Instead, your elevated cortisol has become the lens through which you see your entire life, as something to be managed, to be controlled, and to stay ready for, even when absolutely nothing is wrong. And this is exactly why pushing harder, planning more, or trying to control everything is completely counterproductive. It just reinforces your brain's belief that the world is unsafe and you need to be on guard. The real work is actually much subtler. It's about teaching your system something it has forgotten how to trust, that it is truly safe to power down. So the path forward really involves these steps. First, you just have to recognize that this unsafe baseline is running the show. Step two, you have to intentionally, actively provide your body with evidence of safety, things that signal that it can finally power down. Third, and this is key, it has to be repeated consistently. Doing it once isn't enough. And finally, with enough consistent evidence, you just allow your brain to do what it does best. Update its prediction, this time back to, hey, you can rest now. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. It's not about waiting for the world to magically become less stressful. It's about finding small, consistent ways to send a new message inward. So ask yourself, what is one small thing you could do right now, in this moment, to teach your system that it is finally safe to come back down?